There is one thing in common with the Tata Harrier we have here and the second iteration of the Safari. Well, they run diesel engines exclusively. That is until now, as Tata has introduced a petrol option to both the Harrier and the Safari, and we are here in Delhi to see how it makes a difference to the overall experience of both these SUVs. The engine in question is this Hyperion unit. It is a 1.5-litre turbo petrol engine which is from the Sierra, but in the Harrier and Safari, it puts out 170 horsepower and 280 Newton meters of torque, which is more than the Sierra. Now, this engine can be paired to either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed torque converter automatic gearbox. I'm not really going to get too in depth in terms of the feature list for the Harrier and Safari, considering the changes are more powertrain focused, but there are additions for the petrol variants. There's now the larger and easy to use 14.53-inch Samsung Neo QLED infotainment screen and a digital IRVM with an inbuilt dash cam that works well but could have had a better resolution. Other additions include a memory function for the ORVM, a 65-watt Type-C charging port, and Dolby Atmos audio tuning to complement the 10-speaker JBL sound system. What's all new though is a front and rear camera washer that can come in handy after some dusty and muddy escapades. This is all part of a variant rejig in the petrol option, which includes the new top-spec Fearless Ultra variant for the Harrier and the new top-of-the-line Accomplished Ultra variant for the Safari. The Red Dark Edition option also makes its return in the latest iterations of both SUVs, bringing in red and dark elements inside and out. So, has the petrol engine affected the overall dynamics of the Tata Harrier? I'd say not a lot, I would say, because this Hyperion engine is actually pretty decent, especially going around cruising speeds, and it really gets into its own stride at speeds post 80 km per hour, as overtakes can be executed fairly easily. Although if you need to push properly, the refinement levels have some room for improvement, as things can get a little bit noisy inside and it's not quite as smooth as what it was while cruising. Speaking of cruising, the NVS levels are seriously impressive while the SUV is cruising around in city or highway spaces, as all the outside noise is really well contained. Now, when it comes to the ride and handling aspect, it's actually very similar, as this SUV feels pretty decently poised around corners. And in terms of the 6-speed torque converter automatic gearbox, the shifts are pretty seamless in general. And overall, a petrol powered Harrier makes a pretty decent case for city travels. Yes, I'm also driving the petrol powered Tata Safari, and the good news, it's actually very familiar to the petrol powered Harrier in terms of performance, in it being pretty smooth generally all around, and even a nice little cruiser at highway speeds. Now, I will say that I can feel the extra weight from this 3-row SUV layout, as this petrol engine can get a little extra strained if you try and push it too hard. With the Tata Harrier and Tata Safari, the question is, what's the point of a petrol option when we already have a tried and tested diesel combination? Yes, the 1.5-litre Hyperion turbo petrol engine is one of the better Tata engines around, but refinement levels have some margin for improvement, especially compared to the diesel performance of both these SUVs. On the other hand, Tata has essentially added more options for the Harrier and Safari. You get a little more extra kit alongside the already loaded feature list on both these SUVs. These additional features I'm sure will make it to the diesel variant soon enough. Overall, the petrol option is an additional, more affordable flavor or choice for both SUVs, and if you value refinement and don't have very long distance commute requirements, then the Harrier and Safari petrol variants can be a serious option. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Car India for more content.